Not every external link needs to be opened in a new tab. Forcing a link to open in a new tab takes the choice away from your visitor. I can open a link in a new tab a few different ways if I want to. I can't force a link to open in the same tab if you told the link to do the opposite. Forcing links to open in a new tab goes against expectations and it takes away my choice. Good user experience centers around giving people what they're expecting. If a link doesn't tell me that it's opening in a new tab, I have no reason to think that it will. There's the accessibility concept of providing a predictable web experience, and it can be especially disorienting or confusing for users with visual impairments if they aren't explicitly warned that a link opens in a new tab. There are even privacy and security concerns that require some additional steps that you need to take. So, if opening links in a new tab causes issues with user experience, accessibility, privacy, security, why do people force links to open in new tabs? The practice of setting all links that aren't on your site to open in a new tab or browser window came from the old bounce rate analytics metric, as well as a combination of time on page and session duration stats. There was this belief that a user should never navigate away from your site, which would also theoretically increase those metrics and improve SEO. But rather than relying on the time spent on a page, it matters more whether someone is able to find the information they're looking for. Google has taken steps to address these types of things by moving towards engagement rate and changing what the bounce rate actually measures. Even session duration can be tricky to measure, and it often underestimates the amount of time someone spends on your site. No one metric can give a full picture of your website. If you provide a positive user experience and help people find the information they're looking for, they're more likely to come back. So, what is this about user preference? Well, some people might have a strong preference one way or the other. And while there's no way to set your default browser preference for how links get opened, people who prefer to have links open in a new tab have quite a few options. There's keyboard shortcuts, browser extensions. When you're on a phone, you can hold down on a link and it will give you the options. You can right click and open the context menu. People who don't want their links to open in new tabs have no options if a link forces it. People who prefer links opening in new tabs argue for everyone to code their offsite links to open in new tabs and usually follow up with some variation of, I know how to force open these links, but not everyone does. My recommendation is, instead of taking away that choice and forcing everyone to navigate the internet the way they do, they should share their favorite method for opening links in new tabs so more people are aware of the option. So how is opening a link in a new tab disorienting? Well, for most browsers, when a link is opened in a new tab, there's no way to use the back button and go back to the previous page. It starts an entirely new history session in that new tab, and that may not be how someone wants to navigate. Assuming that the person realizes that a new tab was opened and they know how to get back, which is a little more complicated and sometimes harder to notice on mobile devices than on desktops, it's not even guaranteed that they'll return to your page. They might end up closing all their tabs instead of just that new one. It's even more confusing because on mobile Safari, I can sometimes hit the back button on a link that opened in a new tab, and it'll actually take me back to the website that opened that link, which almost seems like something they implemented to try to fix the user experience issue that people have with links opening in new tabs. So rather than have someone get lost in a sea of tabs, let them use their back and forward buttons and bookmark your page if they want to revisit it later. Give people a reason to come back rather than trying to trick them into keeping your site open to artificially inflate your analytics or because you're afraid somebody isn't going to be able to come back if they leave. Is it ever okay to open links in new tabs? Well, the only universally recognized time that you should be forcing links to open in new tabs is when you'll potentially interrupt something that they can't hit the back button to continue. So a form being filled out or someone checking out on, an e-commerce store, or if it would end someone's logged in session. There are a couple other times when it could make sense, but they're going to greatly depend on context. The first is linking to a document like a PDF that doesn't automatically download. That's a situation that I put up less of a fight with. I go back and forth on whether files like these do need to be opened in a new tab. I've seen websites that don't force the issue, and I'm perfectly happy with how it works, but I can see the potential issues with it. You'll still need to provide information about the document you're linking to, like a Word or properly marked up icon telling whether it's a PDF, Word doc, etc. The second is external resources on a long page. Maybe it's a reference page or a course. When navigating away from that page might be annoying if the browser doesn't take you back to the same place on the page in the same circumstances. It depends on how you anticipate your visitors utilizing the page and what will make it easiest for them to navigate through. If you think you have another time that should be added to this list, let me know, add it in the comments. But if you do want to open a link in a new tab, you're going to need to be clear. You have to warn people by either adding text to the link, for example, in parentheses, opens in a new tab, or you can add the standard icon that's hidden to screen readers that displays the opens in new tab text on hover with screen reader text saying the same thing. If you're using WordPress, there's a plugin called Accessibility New Window Warnings. That makes this really easy. And then the Admin Bar's Accessibility Weekly series has a great post on opening links in new tabs. I'll add both of those links in the comments of this video. And if you are using WordPress, once you've added a link to your page, you can click on it and there's a pencil-looking icon with a little line under it. You just click on that. It's the edit link. It's going to show you your text and your link values. If you click on the little slide out that says advanced, it's going to open up the advanced options. And you just click on open a new tab and hit save, and then it will now open in a new tab. If you want to undo it, you just do the same thing and uncheck the box, open in a new tab. Now, if you notice, when I click on additional links, that advanced panel does stay open. So once you've opened it, it'll stay open, and I believe that should stay open across pages. It should stay open until you close it yourself. One of the common criticisms about the WordPress block editor is the amount of clicks it takes to do something. In this case, the additional click that it takes to open that advanced tab means that you've acknowledged that you know what you're doing and understand the implications of your choice. This additional click means that you have to actively want to do this instead of giving it the same weight as everything else. So rather than have too many options up front, we have the most important ones available, the text and the link. And then the other ones require some additional knowledge or context. It's under advanced, which means that some additional information is needed to make a decision about these settings. And once you've opened that advanced panel, it'll stay open. So it's one click for the duration of you editing your links. Some SEO and other plugins enable the option to have all external links open in a new tab, which means that you'll be taking away that user choice, and every single link that doesn't have your URL will open in a new tab. You still have to make sure it informs your users that the link opens in a new tab from a visual and a screen reader standpoint. And you'll no longer be able to decide as the person creating the content whether you want to open this in a new tab or not. It removes the decision process completely. The bottom line is, do what's best for the people coming to your site. Help them find what they're looking for and give them a reason to stay.